Okay.
Test your might. Test your might.
It was Thursday night football, and boy, did the Ravens wake up in the second half to take a 35-34 victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. You're up late. It is now officially Friday, November 8th. And the Flex Zone Podcast presents the Baltimore Ravens Postgame Show. Man, we've Big Raj, he was at the game. He's going to give us a live report, reactions, and recap. And looking ahead to Pittsburgh Steelers as well as Drizzy Dre. Joining me as always. We're going to talk about the game, good, bad, and ugly, offense, defense, special teams, coaching, injuries, and so much more. Ravens get a 35-34 victory, improved to 7-3. Bengals fall to 4-6. Defense makes the game win a stop on the 2-point conversion try. The Baltimore Ravens postgame show. We're going to break it all down right here for you on the YouTube airwaves. Make sure you guys sack that subscribe button. Go ahead, stick that like button, bulldoze that bell. Sound off down below in the comments and vote on the poll. Ravens improved to 7-3. How you feeling? Let's get to it. The Baltimore Ravens postgame show right here on the Freak Zone. Another Baltimore Ravens post-game show right here on the Flex Zone podcast. Only place giving you sports how you want it.
When you need it.
That's right. The official Baltimore Ravens post-game show here on the Flex Zone. You guys know the spiel. We're going to get right into it. Make sure you guys stiff on that subscribe button, stick that like button, bulldoze that bell, sound off below. Let us know your thoughts on the Ravens 35-34 victory over the Bengals. Now sweep them 2-0. Jackson pushed to 10 against the Cincinnati Bengals in his career. And Coach John Harbaugh is now 22-3 in primetime games at home. I know people get on him. He's done it well in primetime at home. 22-3 in 25 primetime home games since he's became the coach. And he's now 9-0 on Thursday night football at home. I know Raj was at the game. He's coming momentarily as he's walking to his vehicle. But Drizzy Dre, good to see you, my brother. Let's start there. First of all, how you feeling with this win? I know you're excited. And Lamar Jackson, as you mentioned, wrapping up that
MVP.
Acknowledge me.
How you feel about the game tonight, bro?
Hey man, that first half, but that second half, man, when the Ravens came back, they said that Lamar Jackson got in there, and then it turned the momentum around. Bateman was saying that he gave a really good speech, and it just turned the momentum of the game around. You know, it was looking real shaky, but you knew this Ravens offense could definitely turn it around. And I'm just happy that the Ravens were able to pull it out. It's a lot to clean up, though, man. I'm still wondering the same questions halfway through the year. Why are we not running the football when we have somebody the caliber of a Derrick Henry? That was the purpose, so that way we could run the football more. Why is it that the Ravens offense, granted it was a divisional game, but why is it that they had such a slow start and the Bengals seemed to have a good start? And then questions on defense. I remember Dan Orlovsky saying earlier today on ESPN, as long as the Ravens defense is the way that it is, they will not win the Super Bowl. And sadly, that might be a reality because the offense didn't start off well, and then the defense was just doing what they were doing. Third down and those big plays need to be cleaned up expeditiously, because if not, teams like the Chiefs are not going to let you back into the football game. And I mean, the Bengals, you know, they have their ups and downs. It's a divisional game, but we play some really good teams. Before we even talk about a team like the Chiefs, we still got the Eagles, we got the Chargers, who are no joke, and we got the Steelers twice. Those games are very crucial because we won at least the number 2 seed right behind the Chiefs. So these games are very important for the Ravens. You saw how the home crowd today played a pivotal role in them getting back in this football game. So we need to definitely clean those things up defensively, and then offensively, we definitely need to have Derrick Henry involved more in the offense, especially with him in the MVP slash Offensive Player of the Year conversation. Lamar Jackson today further buffering his point as to why he should be MVP, but it should be Lamar and Derrick Henry leading the way above, head and shoulders above everybody else.
Well, speaking of head and shoulders above everyone else, he was at that crowd that you mentioned, Dre, in that crowd at the game. The man on the street, a man of the people, the one and only Big Raj. What's going on, Raj? How you feeling?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, he did. He just played with it.
That's one big
I'm feeling good, man.
son of a bitch!
Another barn burner, another heart attack game. You know what I'm saying? The Ravens pulled it out at the end, though, but I have a lot of frustrations, a lot of questions. The game should have. To be honest with you, the game really should have been over um, when it was 4th and 10. I think we got screwed on that play. Um, and then the referees just decided to continue to keep, piling on as they always do when they have the camera on them. I thought Lamar played a fantastic game, though, in the second half. He was a little sluggish in the first. The entire team was sluggish in the first half. They got it together in the third quarter. Joe Burrow was looking pretty good. Jamar Chase was phenomenal tonight. Um, Rashad Bateman showed up in a lot of huge plays tonight, which was really key for this team. Mark Andrews had some really good plays as well. Derrick Henry was Derrick Henry as always. Offensive line has too many penalties though. Too many penalties is, but yeah, man, the defense is they're extremely frustrating. It's just like 1 minute they'll stop somebody, and then the next minute they'll just completely just straight give it up. And they was doing that the entire night until the end when they stopped. What was it? Gazaki? Is that the tight end that he threw the ball to?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. When he threw it to him, it's like a roller coaster ride with them. It's like they get a little hot, they stop, Jamar Chase 1 minute, and the next minute he's running for 70, 80 yards. And it's just like no rhyme or reason to this defense. And I can't say they didn't get any pressure because they got a lot of pressure tonight. Metabike had 3 sacks, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And Owe had a lot of pressures. He was running after Joe Burrow most of the game. So it's like that wasn't the problem. It's just like the corners Brandon Stevens is. And you know what? But even Brandon Stevens, I can't say he was extremely terrible because he had a pick that was called back. They didn't really review it. I'm like, I think both feet was in, but
Oh,
it is
that you
what it
talking about the
is.
interception?
Yeah, the interception when he intercepted
Man,
Burrow.
that was bull jive.
It was just like a lot of those calls was like that tonight with the referees. It was like they was throwing us a lot, even on the first touchdown drive with the Bengals when they called that ridiculous penalty and they went for it on 4th down and they got it turned over and they was like, oh no, it's a defensive holding penalty. I was like, you got to be kidding. It was like ticky tack foul calls against the Ravens the entire night that kept the Bengals in this game a lot of the time. And it was just frustrating. It was a frustrating night. I hate that. I'm saying I hate that refereeing crew. I hope we never see them again the rest of this season. They are terrible. They deserve a complete F. Like
You know
they
you'll
was
see him
really
in the
effing the
playoffs,
game.
Raj. You'll see him in the playoffs against the Chiefs.
Oh my god. Yeah, we'll definitely lose that game then if
No,
that's
no,
the
no!
case.
Don't say that, man. We got to speak, but we
I'm
got to be
just saying,
Well,
positive.
well,
man.
Raj, how was the crowd? How was the crowd tonight? It was a Thursday. I know people are getting through the work week. We just had the election. How were people's energy? How was the vibe at M&T Bank Stadium? Sports is what unites us, no matter what's going on.
The crowd was rocking the entire night. People was loving it. People were happy. People were cheering. It was a full crowd on Thursday Night Football. Not too many Bengals fans, but tons of Ravens fans came through. Um, it was pretty much packed where I was at. So yeah, man, the crowd was loving it, man. They was live. Like they didn't care about no election. They didn't care about none of that other stuff. It was we focused on Ravens football, and beating the Bengals and stopping Jamar Chase and all that other good stuff. But yeah, the crowd was good, man. The crowd was rocking.
Well, let's work back to front. The defense got the stop on the 2-point conversion. First, they went to go for it. Then they called a timeout. I thought they were just going to kick the field goal, but they wanted to see what the Ravens were lining up in defensively. And it looks like Cincinnati basically still ran the same play, didn't even go back to Jamar Chase, who had 11 receptions, 264 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He has 2 games with that many numbers, joining Jerry Rice, Cloyce Box, and Gene Roberts as doing it multiple times of 200 plus yards and 3 or more touchdowns. As you mentioned, Joe Burrow, he was shredding the defense like they were paper mache, as you guys probably saw. As mentioned, I mean, he was playing hot coming into this game. Burrow, 34 of 56, 428, 4 touchdowns. He was sacked 3 times. And Chase Brown, 13 carries, 42 yards, had a touchdown. And as mentioned, Jamar Chase, 11 for 264, 3 tubs. Chase Brown, 9 for 52. Tanner Hudson, 6 for 42 and a touchdown. Gesicki, 4 for 30. And Yoshi Vosh, 2 for 29. And defensively for the Ravens, as mentioned, we had 3 sacks from Nnamdi Madubuike, his best game this season. We've seen him close a lot this season. Some penalties, called some of his sacks back. But what do you think about the defense, Trey, getting that stop on the 2-point conversion? And then overall, just letting Jamar Chase do whatever he wants, really.
Like Raj said, this team is so frustrated, man, because on defense they couldn't stop a nosebleed, and then when it comes to the fourth quarter, when they needed a stop, they finally were able to make one. And then we talked offline. I was upset about the commentators because they're making it seem like calls should have been made, like it was a face mask, it was holding. I'm like, where was that same energy in the first quarter when we were getting when calls weren't going our way, or like Rod said, when we had the one interception that should have totally changed the momentum, and then that was called back because they're saying something about his toe was there, but not the rest of the foot. But it was BS because his left toe was in, and then he's dragging I'm sorry, his right toe was in, and then he's dragging the right foot along with both feet in bounds. But yet they're saying that that wasn't an interception, and then that made it to a Bengals touchdown, which made it then 21-7. So uh, the defense has its moments, but I mean, it's for once they were rushing the passer, but the secondary again was just giving up play after play. And then they were saying that Kyle Hamilton with his injury hurting us, but at the same time, yes, Kyle is hurt, but other people have to step up. So something's got to give. We did make a trade, and hopefully that can help us on the secondary, but I'm not sure, man. Defensively, they cannot give up plays, man. And you can even see the frustration with like a Roquan Smith who's out there. I remember a particular, I think it was in the third quarter when it was a crossing route with Jamar Chase, and Roquan pushes him out of bounds, and he's saying that it's a crossing route, and you can see he's frustrated because he's not understanding why there's no help to the assignment. He knows he can't beat Jamar Chase, but at least he was able to stop it from a bigger play that would have had to be. But nevertheless, it's stuff like that that has to be cleaned up, and then you wonder why people are calling for the defensive coordinator to be fired, and you're wondering why Justin Tucker. Another thing, dude, the extra kick. I mean, it was times, all season we've been wondering about, can he kick from 50 plus yards, and then he finally does it. But then you can't make that mistake about the extra point, because that swings, not only does that swing momentum, but that could have been the difference in the game right then and there. So yeah, the Bengals went for two, and then they luckily we were able to stop them. But that could have been a point in the game that, who knows what that extra point, you need that in a football game. So it's things like that that have to be cleaned up, because it makes you wonder about the defense, and it makes you wonder about the special teams. And who would ever think that you would have question marks on those sides of the football when it comes to a Ravens team? And yet the offense is the one where we're saying that if they just make some minor adjustments and give Derrick Henry the football more, we are in a good space. But in the past, it's been the defense and the special teams that have carried us, and we're wondering when the offense can catch up.
Hmm. Can you hear me? Is it?
Yeah, we can hear you, Uncle Raj.
Yeah, because Byron look like he's frozen. Yeah, Dre, pretty much, man. Like Justin Tucker missing that extra point was frustrating. I mean, it's like it's like something at the. It just feels like I don't know. It's like at moments he has it, and in the next moment he just misses. And it's like it's very unexpected from him, and I just don't understand what's going on with his technique, or if it's something with him and the punter. I just don't get it. I don't understand why he's missing extra points now. But it didn't hurt us at the end, thank God. But like you said, man, watching Jamar Chase out there, just tear us apart, literally tearing that middle of the field apart. Like nobody's guarding him at times. They playing this ridiculous zone coverage that continues to keep getting exploited. It just makes no sense, man. And I don't understand what the game plan really is when it comes to these number one wide receivers that we got to face. T Higgins, thank God T Higgins wasn't out there tonight. If T Hig was out there, I mean, my God, I mean,
Bruh.
they probably would have threw for 600 yards or something like that. But it's extremely frustrating. I mean, Wiggins is not that bad, man. Marlon Humphrey is not that bad. Stevens might be that bad. He just might be. But them other two is not that bad. And I don't understand what they're running. I don't understand what they're calling at certain plays. I mean, certain times, because at times the plays work. The plays sometimes the plays they run they work, and at other times it's like they get caught off guard. They call the wrong play, and then all of a sudden, boom, a touchdown or boom, a chunk,
Frustrating.
super chunk yards. Not just chunk, but super chunk. You get like 40 or 50 yards in one play. So
Super frustrating, man.
Hold on, Raj. We can't hear you. Hold on. You went out for a second. I don't know if we can hear Raj. Look like he went out for a second. Uh, Raj, you muted, brother. Raj is muted. Go ahead, Dre.
Like I was saying, I mean, it's just super frustrating, man, about this. The team. I mean, it's there, but we know that the things the Ravens are doing is good, but not good enough because the frustration is right now to the point where we will have to see the Chiefs again if we want to get over the hump, and it's just seeming like this team is not ready to get over that hump yet. I'm not sure what's going on, but something's got to be done, man.
Well, let's talk about Lamar, the MV3 on the way. He was magnificent yet again, Dre. We run out of superlatives to say the guy doesn't need to practice. He's dealing with some type of nagging injury or combination of nagging injuries. He threw 3 fourth quarter touchdowns and made it look easy. On one to Tyler Butts, 84-yard touchdown of his career. Mark Andrews, all reliable. And then to Rashad Bateman. What did you think about the offense today? I know they didn't run the ball a lot, but I think the Bengals were doing a good job trying to stop the running. They took advantage through there.
I mean, I think so, but I mean, my only thing with the offense is that even if you're doing a good job stopping the run, continue to feed Derrick Henry. He gets stronger as the game goes on, so eventually he's going to break out a run or he's going to wear you down. Got to commit to still running the football. Um, I'm happy that Bateman had a really good game. Flowers, of course, Andrews, those guys, but you have to be committed to running the football. That's my only thing. Unless they are trying to somehow get away from this narrative of using Derrick Henry and then maybe preserving him for the playoffs. But I don't care. You run this guy till he can't run anymore. Uh, that I know it's still halfway through the season, but you gotta do what you need to do to get to the dance. And to me, we're lucky to be escaping the dance with some of the victories that we have gotten, and some of the losses that we've had should have never happened in the first place.
We did lose Raj. What do you think about the offensive line play, Dre? I know they had a couple penalties. I don't really like the illegal man downfield penalty, especially when it doesn't impact the play, but the offensive line was a problem coming into the season. They played better as of late.
Yeah, I think they have, and you see some of the momentum happening, but I still think that you have to, no matter what, you still got to at least try to run Derrick Henry. And it's like, I don't know why tonight they just seem to just get away from it. But definitely with that Pittsburgh game, you're going to definitely need to run that football, man, because if not, Pittsburgh going to run it down your own throat. They're going to play defense and they're going to do what they need to do in order to eliminate time of possession. Like, it was just so weird and seeing it. Like, I remember that first half today, and the Bengals had double the offensive time that the Ravens had, and couldn't stop Jamar Chase at all. And this was all through like passing. It wasn't like they were running the football. So
Nope.
it's just it, it's
Frustrating.
frustrating, but at the same time, it's an unknown because it's like we know what to do, but yet why are we not doing it?
It's a tale of two teams, Dre. It's like last year they could do no wrong on defense, man. Like everything was given to them. They were making play after play after play. They were getting the job done. And this year now it's just like they forgot how to play, and they don't. They're running the wrong coverages, and they're not tackling well at times. And it just shows, man. It's like it was literally a tale of two teams tonight. And I mean on defense, not on offense. On offense, they started off slow, but once they got cooking, they stayed cooking. But it's just on defense, it was like what a couple drives they look good, and then the other couple drives they look like straight garbage. So I don't know what to really make of it. I really don't. I've never seen them look this lethargic at times and this bad. But they give us they don't give me too much hope. Let's just say that.
Raj, what you think about Lamar today? 25 of 33, 294 touchdowns, and Derrick Henry only 16 carries. Did have another touchdown, so touchdown in every game this season, extending a record. And Tyler Wallace, 3 for 15, 84 yards, Lamar's longest passing touchdown of his career. Mark Andrews, your boy Bateman. Flowers still had 30 yards. Aguilar with a touchdown.
I thought he played well. I didn't know he did a pep talk since Dre said he did a pep talk. It looked like it showed in the second half because that entire offense was starting to get it going. So they really turned the heat up when they needed to. But Lamar was an excellent man. He almost had one interception though. He almost had one interception, but it was dropped, thank God. But other than that, he was amazing. He's the MV3 again. He has 24 touchdowns. He has as many touchdowns as he had the entire year last year as far as passing, which is fantastic. And he's just on pace, man. To continue to keep breaking records and breaking his own passing records. So I mean, he's come a long way as a quarterback. He's shown a lot of poise in the pocket, even when he's been rushed and taken out the pocket. He's still staying in the pocket somewhat to try to get a pass down the field. He's not taking off as much, which is good. And he just looks like the real deal now. It's like he's extreme. I think he's extremely feared by everyone at this point. The Bengals players didn't know what was going to happen most of the time, so he played his ass off. He did his thing, and he made Tyron Wallace get 100 yards. I mean, we T Wallace wasn't even a fact. he wasn't even the thought of. But a guy like Lamar Jackson, you just never know who's going to get the ball, and he just happened to get the ball, 3 times and made the most of his opportunities. So Lamar Jackson's making his teammates better. He's scaring defenses as he always does, but he's doing it more so with his arm than his legs. And I hate to say it, but he's not looking like the running quarterback that he used to look like back in the day. He's looking more like an actual pocket passer that can run the football. So
Yeah. What was
he
that
was
little?
phenomenal.
What was that one? I think it was a play in maybe the fourth quarter where it was like a little hesitation where Lamar could have ran it, but instead he chose to throw it instead. It was kind of weird because we're used to Lamar running, but he made up for it later when they had the fumble that turned into a Lamar run that turned into a Derrick Henry touchdown. Yeah, I mean, all those narratives about Lamar, like we've been saying on this show for years, they're gone. It's to a point now where he just has to win the Super Bowl. Of course, they're going to come up with something else, probably like, can he win another Super Bowl after that? But right now, it's just Lamar Jackson getting to a Super Bowl, and I want to get to a point where we're not so heavily dependent upon Lamar Jackson. You see, the Chiefs are there. I mean, yes, offensively, you're predicated around the quarterback, but I'm saying it's like legit Lamar or bust, and we got Derrick Henry in there for a reason, and yet we have not featured this man sometimes in certain games, and it's frustrating that happens, and at the same time, it's like we've seen this tale again from last year about why are we so Lamar dependent, and which is leading him to get MVP. But we don't want him to be worn down or anything when January and February come.
Well, Raj, Dre, what did you guys think about the Marlon Humphrey play? I think that kind of changed the momentum of the game.
I said that earlier that yeah, Kyle Hamilton not being in there affects the secondary, but you got to step up. It's next man up mentality. I don't know what's happened in Baltimore with that because we've had players who haven't been drafted or anything step up, but yet this defense continues to give up huge plays week in and week out. So hopefully Kyle will be back by the Steelers game. He's got an extended rest period, but it's a wait and see at this point.
I mean, yeah, like Dre said, man. Once Kyle Hamilton went out the game, like they was already bad, but it felt like they got worse once he left. So I don't know, man. Like the leaders of this team got to really step that game up, man, on the defensive end, man. We're paying Roquan Smith too much money for him not to be, doing what he's supposed to do out there, as far as leading this football team, man. I feel like they need a voice in that locker room that's gonna help propel them to playing a lot better on the field. Like anytime like the Ravens defense would look like kind of terrible at times, we always had that guy named Ray Lewis or Ed Reed on the field that would help out, and it just seems like ever since they've been gone, we've been good, but we haven't been like great besides last year. So I think they just need another voice, man. They need somebody else that's gonna propel them to playing better. Like Argo Valley Farm said, man. He doesn't think the problem is Zach War. He thinks that it's Harbaugh, and it could be. It could be Harbaugh. He could be holding them back. But I just don't know, man. I think the scheme is not as good as as it could be, but it just is what it is right now. I hope that they get better though, for real, because they got to play some heavy hitters coming up.
Let's go there, Dre. They play the Pittsburgh Steelers next Sunday, but they do get a mini bye, 10 days off to rest and recover. We don't know Kyle Hamilton's injury status. It's an ankle injury. He's in a boot. Does he play with more time? But it's in Pittsburgh. A 1 o'clock start hasn't been flexed. Pittsburgh has the Commanders this week. It'll be Pittsburgh's first divisional game in the AFC North as well. Always a barn burner, last second come down to the last play game when the Ravens and Steelers are at full strength.
This game, uh, both teams have can be you arguably even play defense, run the football, long tenured head coaches. But you still got to get the slight edge to Baltimore for quarterback wise. But then Pittsburgh's no joke because they've had our number over the past couple of years. So something's got to give, and I'm going to root, of course, for Baltimore to finally break through and be able to beat Pittsburgh. But it's no, like you said, it's no easy task. I mean, this is work. That team is no joke, and that team looks like it's going to be in the playoffs, and they're number one in our division over us.
And real quick, Dre, coming back from behind 21-7, we were still feeling like the Ravens had a chance to win this game. We weren't worried in years past with the offenses we've had, even with Lamar. We questioned could they come from behind. They've done it multiple times this year, and another time today again with this offense.
They shouldn't have to do that though.
Exactly.
That's the big. That's the biggest problem. They shouldn't have to always have to come back from being down 10, 14, 21, or whatever. It's like that's my whole point. Like last year, our offense wasn't as potent as it is this year, but we had a great defense. It's like I'm waiting for this team to be balanced. That's what I'm waiting for.
Perfect word, right?
I don't have to have I don't have to have the greatest offense of all time, but I don't want to have the worst defense of all time either. Like if we want to get to where we need to get to, we have to be a balanced team. And then we've seen we've seen them win when they're a balanced team before. I mean, we wasn't great in 2012. We didn't have the greatest defense. We didn't have the greatest offense, but we were very balanced, and we figured out how to win. So that's what I'm waiting for this team. If they want to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers next week, they cannot they cannot give up 34 points to them. I mean, granted, now Steelers don't score like that, but I'm just saying their defense is great, and we
And
already
they,
know T.J. Watt. What you
I was,
say, Dre?
I was going to say that their offense, that's a team that can throw the football and get big plays.
Right, exactly, because they got Russell Wilson, and he throws down the field more effectively than Mr. Fields does. So, like I'm saying, man, if we're gonna beat Pittsburgh, the key things that they got to do is, of course, they got to stop the run. But I think they're gonna do that. That's easy. That's easy. But they cannot turn the ball over. T.J. Watt is a menace on that side of the field, and he always finds ways to disrupt or make somebody, fumble or something. It's always a big play when it comes to him. So the Ravens cannot afford to be dropping footballs. They can't afford to not run the football effectively. They can't afford to have these penalties. They can't afford a lot of things against them. So I understand that we're like the stepchildren to the Steelers because we always lose to them. But that's a huge game next week. They have to come prepared, and they have to bring their A game because they can't mess around with them.
Man, and I'll say this when it comes to them. Ravens defense is weird because I was looking at some stats earlier. They are like top five when it comes to sacks, passes defended, but bottom when it comes to yards per game and the and I think the other thing was the points that are given up by this team, especially in the fourth quarter. If they can clean up, like you said, the little things, man, this team will be right there. And we wouldn't be questioning things, but it's things in the secondary giving up those big plays, and my fear is just that it's going to be a team that they can win a shootout, but you don't want your defense. You don't want to put your defense in that position, and you don't want Lamar and Derrick Henry in that position because then when Lamar starts forcing things, it starts becoming a turnover machine, and then it just goes downhill. When the Ravens have an identity, and I just wish that they would just stick to who and what they are. Run the football, commit to doing that, and things will open up in the passing game.
Raj,
I agree.
are you complaining about the Derrick Henry lack of touches? I mean, he was 16 of 68. I I love seeing Lamar do his thing back there. Just me personally, because I feel like their teams are just daring them to throw. They're putting 10 men in the box, and Lamar and the Ravens are just taking advantage of it. That's why he's not getting 25, 30 carries, because in the first half they get stifled for 20 yards rushing. Then in the second half they rush for 40, 50 yards. They did end their streak of 100 yards rushing, the longest streak in the NFL. But do you have a problem with the lack of touches for Derrick Henry?
Yes and no. Um, I want to say I want to say no because he just carried the ball 23 times on Sunday. So I'm not mad that he didn't carry it as much because he just literally carried the ball like 3 days ago or 4 days ago. So I don't want to overdo it with him, especially him being 30 and uh, I ain't gonna say slowing down, but just being a little older. You want to preserve a little bit of those touches for later on. Um, but also yes, because it's like you want to run the football, with your best running back, and it's like why is he? And I question sometimes why is he not in there? Why are we running with Justice Hill? Why are we trying to sweep with Justice Hill? That doesn't make any sense. Don't sweep with him. Or it's 3rd and 4, and you're running the ball with Justice Hill, and now you got to punt the football. It's just stuff like that. Like Derrick Henry should be in the game at that point in time, just for the fear that he's going to run the football. Especially on 3rd down. So, it's like it's the yes and the no, but I get why they didn't run them as much today, but it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt us offensively, but a couple of those games, like in Cleveland and against the Raiders, it was a little weird. And definitely the first game of the season where we didn't really know what to do with Derrick Henry. But they're figuring it out as they go along. So
I
hopefully
hope
he
so.
gets more. Hopefully he gets over 20 carries next week against the Steelers.
I hope
Yeah, I
so.
think that many will help them out. Real quick, let's get to the injury report. We know about Kyle Hamilton, but we had a returning Keaton Mitchell today. I think he had a couple snaps, like maybe one play, there was a penalty, and he did return a kick for 30 yards. Dre, did you see anything with Keaton Mitchell, or what do you think of him maybe coming in? You got Deontay Johnson had one catch for 6 yards, and bringing in, of course, as you mentioned at the trade deadline, Tre'Davious White.
Like Unc said, I mean Lamar. It's just kind of like whoever. Um, they're still going to feature offensively Zay and Bateman, so the others will be the others will step up eventually and have their time. But uh, I mean, offensively, we kind of know the big three of Flowers, Bateman, and Andrews. And then I I haven't heard much from Likely the past couple weeks, so I'm not sure if that's an injury or what. But gotta get
No,
him
he didn't
back
play tonight.
because
Yeah,
he's
he
another.
didn't play tonight, Dre.
He
Oh,
was hurt.
he did play, but not too much was heard from him. But definitely gotta get those guys featured.
Raj, your thoughts on Keaton Mitchell, Kyle Hamilton, and Tre'Davious White coming in? No Isaiah Likely, as we mentioned, he was out with an injury.
Uh, Kyle, I hope that is not a long-term injury. I hope that he's okay. I heard he was in a boot, but that doesn't really mean anything. I just hope that he's not a high ankle sprain or anything like that. So hopefully he'll be back. As far as Keaton Mitchell, I thought it's kind of hard to tell because he really didn't really do anything. And I wish they would instead of giving Zay Flowers the screen pass, I wish they would, put Keaton out there and throw him the football because I think he works well in space. And we just didn't get to see that today. So maybe next week against the Steelers we will. But yeah, they got to get that man a little bit more touches, man, to see what he really could do because I understand he's coming back from injury, but you definitely want to see what you have in him at this point in the season because you don't want to, go late into the season and you're not really using him. And it's like, oh wow, now he's out there. But hopefully we'll see more of him going forward. And who else did you say? Isaiah Likely?
Likely,
Yeah,
Tre'Davious White coming in probably to play next week as
Oh,
well.
Tre'Davious White. Tre'Davious White gonna have a chance to start. I'm booking now, but he was gonna have a chance to start I ain't gonna say next week, but maybe the week after that. I mean, Brandon Stevens is just not it, man. He just isn't it. And I know Vinny and them was saying that he's gonna be used to death. Nah, man, he's gonna be playing. Trust me, he's gonna be out there. So hopefully he's good. I'm hoping.
Well, that is pretty much all we got. Dre, I'll go to you first. Thursday night games are weird, but we get to win 35-34. Your closing thoughts and look ahead, and maybe something you're looking forward to this weekend as the Steelers have a big game and other games of note as we're in week 10 of the NFL season, Jersey Dre.
That might be the game of the week because I don't see any other games that really stand out too much. Looking at the rest of the schedule, more people like Pittsburgh to lose, but it could be that, like Andre said, Commanders could win against the Steelers, but then lose against the Eagles. Steelers could beat the Commanders, but then lose to us. So it's all about momentum, and hopefully the Ravens, with this extended time off, will clean those things up and really hone in, so that way they can be the true team that they are, the team that's supposed to beat the Chiefs, the team that's supposed to be the best in the NFL, and really work on just cleaning up those things and playing disciplined football. If they can play football for um, 60 minutes, they will be just fine. But they have not played a complete 60 minutes of football. If they can play a complete game, offensive, defense, special teams, be on one cohesive unit, so that way they can finish the story and be on one accord. This team will. Nobody's beating this team. But until then, you still got to wonder about the juggernaut of the Chiefs, and even the Steelers. Because I said earlier in the year, it's only two teams that give Lamar hell, and that's the Steelers and the Chiefs.
Raj, I'll let you go, but real quick, they go to Pittsburgh next week. Then on Monday night after that, go to LA, Harbaugh, then host Philly the week after that. Giants, then Pittsburgh again, then at Houston on Christmas. Then you end with Cleveland. So a tough schedule nonetheless, Raj.
Yeah, man. I just hope that this team it gets well rested in these 10 days, and I hope that they watch a lot of film. You know, and get right because it's gonna be tough, like you said. It starts next week with these Steelers, man, because they're the best team in the AFC North right now. They're clicking on all cylinders. Russell Wilson looks pretty good, in his debut and these past couple games. So it's gonna be a barn burner. It's gonna be a game of epic proportions. Hopefully, Tre'Davious White is playing because I think we're gonna need him. And I just hope that the Ravens are ready for this test, man, because I believe that Lamar Jackson has only beaten him one time in his career, in his entire career. I think because a lot of the games either he didn't play or he was hurt. So this is a complete test for him as well. To get over a demon that's been haunting him uh, pretty much his entire career. So hopefully his receivers come to catch the football next week because we already know what Rashard Bateman did and Zay Flowers did and Nelson Aguilar did last year in that game against Pittsburgh. But it's all good. But I'll just say for tonight, the offense played great. The defense was shaky as it's been the entire season, and they got by with a victory. Celebrate these next days, but we need to get right for next week.
Yes, I actually like the Steelers to win against the Commanders on Sunday. So both teams will have 7 wins coming into that game. So I think it'll be a big time matchup. But I like the Ravens offense against their defense. They can't score with us. I like the Ravens early on, but we'll see what happens. Jersey Dre will be here this weekend, but Monday's show, what can the people expect?
Um, More coverage of um, football, both pro and collegiate. Um, College basketball is underway. NBA. It's a lot happening, and then as we get ready, AEW has a pay per view this weekend. No, I'm sorry, a pay per view coming up. close to the end of the month, and same thing with WWE. So we'll talk about those things.
Hey, paid refs, send us a super chat then. It's 1 a.m. You up with us? Send us a super chat right now. Raj, your refs, they came in the stream, man. They heard you talking stuff about it, man. I'm going to give you 2 minutes with them, man. What you got to say to the refs, man? Tell them to subscribe, hit the like button and all that good stuff, and send their money then if they got paid.
Bars well.
Raj?
I think Uncle Rod, you might be frozen. I hope you.
Yeah, he might be frozen. But paid ref, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let me know how you feeling. What's your thoughts down below? Raj, I got you before you lost Raj.
Man.
But paid ref, well, if you got paid, you can always super chat us. Check us out each and every day. We'll be live tomorrow, I believe, most likely, for SmackDown. We got a Maryland preview. They play the #1 team in the country, Oregon, this week. Coming soon, Maryland basketball tomorrow. I'll be live with the Commander Lawyer Cavante this Sunday afternoon, this Sunday evening. Commander Steelers, the post-game show. We're going live here on YouTube. So join us. Pull up, have a seat, take a drink, and we'll be recapping Week 10, going around the league with the scores. So feel free to join us if you want there with the live version of the Commanders post-game show. Then Monday, back to the Flex Zone podcast, the flagship podcast, and we'll be live next Thursday as the Commanders play the Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday Night Football. So we'll have the recap coverage and overall just look ahead to that game coming as well with a preview also. Jersey Dre is the executive producer, Big Raj, the man who was at the game, man of the people, and the social media producer, God's favorite host, my brother Cavante, senior producer, and Jersey Dre. I'll give you the last word. Want to sound off for the people?
Hey man, continue to tune into the Flex Zone. Hit that like and subscribe button. We talk about everything because we are legit the place that gives you sports how you want it, when you need it. Paid rep, we love to talk to you too, man. Love to have you here so that way you can talk about that 2-point conversion. Let's set that up.
Yes, sir. Jersey Dre, as always, appreciate you, my brother, and everyone else. Thank you for joining us. Staying up late. It is Friday, so enjoy your weekend. No Ravens football until next Sunday at Pittsburgh. Of course, we'll be live after that game. Should be another Ravens Steelers classic. And as always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. Let me know your thoughts. What you want to see? Comment on the video after it's out. Help us out. Leave an emoji. FlexZone1@gmail.com, Twitter, Instagram, FlexZone1, and the FlexZone Podcast. Only place to get me sports how you want it.
When you need it.
Yes, sir. Big November coming up. Still got 2 pay-per-views, including with Survivor Series at the end of the month. Getting you to 2024 into 2025. Great, thank you. As always, the Flex Zone Podcast here with the Ravens coverage and all your sports coverage as well. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to the channel. Ravens get the win. 35-34 defense. It's the game-winning stop with the 2-point conversion. Missed calls on both sides. Interception, not interception, fumble. Lamar Jackson doing MV3 things. So, for Dre and Raj, God's favorite host, signing off. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We're going to bed. Have a good night. Happy Friday. We'll see you again tomorrow on Flex Zone. Peace.